Hello, everybody. Welcome to Planet FPL, the world where everything revolves around the fancy Premier League. My name's David.
And my name is James. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, you're sounding rough. It's a bit
I don't know if I'll
shouting last night.
yeah, because what it is, David, is the worse they are, the more I feel I have to sing. So yes, I am quite hoarse after last night at Brentford. Wasting my energy, let me tell you. We'll talk about that. And a game week full of a lot of draws. Only three teams won in this game week: Arsenal, Everton, and Newcastle United. We had a manager. Shall we coin it dismissal, or we don't know yet? Or
Yeah, it's unclear at the moment, isn't it? It's certainly a departure. I was going to say, yeah, New Year. There's going to be a new manager. We've all got four shiny new chips in FPL. Same old shit from our teams, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll get into all the detail. I have now stopped.
Don't use your chips yet.
Yeah,
hold fire is the advice where you can.
I have now stopped eating chocolate orange for breakfast. I'm a reformed character,
okay,
so I'm going to get back into more healthier habits. So yeah, Happy New Year to all of our viewers and listeners. How was game week 19 for you? We're going to keep it fairly short and snappy this week, aren't we?
Yeah, we will do our best because we know it's obviously a tight turnaround. Please bear in mind we're recording in the morning, so by the time you get this, there will obviously be some press conferences happening and stuff. So if we get anything in terms of news this morning whilst we're recording, we'll try and share that, but please do check team news. Yeah, okay. 45 points for me. It's a little bit of a green back up to 273k. I had 6 players last night, and the only player returned was Virgil van Dijk. I don't know if anything will sum up a game week much better than that. Bruno Guimaraes 10-pointer is essentially what's done it for me. Jurriën Timber 9 points. Van Dijk's clean sheet. Malik Chow DEFCON. Other than that, a load of shite. Harry Wilson off the bench for me for an absent Declan Rice, who at time recording we're not sure if he'll be available tomorrow or not. Yeah, just meh. Yeah, you had a good one, didn't you?
Actually, all right, yeah. In a rare bit of good decision making, I got Gabriel in ahead of the deadline. I had the exact money to get him in for Sepp Vandenberg, who obviously missed the Bournemouth game. And if he's not going to play, he's absolutely no use to me. He's probably not going to be much use to me in the very short term future anyway. So I decided to just get that done. I also had Declan Rice. By the time I found out about his likely absence, it was like sort of too close to the deadline for me to sort of think about -4 him out or anything. So a bit of a touch. I got Omar Alderete off the bench last night for DEFCON and a clean sheet. So yeah, defenders all returned. I got Virgil Timber, Gabriel Alderete, also got Bruno Guimaraes 10 points. Very little else in attacking. In fact, nothing else in terms of attacking players. So yeah, it was all about the defense. So yeah. You sometimes think you're always unlucky, don't you, in FPL, but you actually do get some good luck from time to time. So I'll take it and move on.
Considering the chaos of the first half of the 7:30 games on Tuesday.
Yeah, yesterday was terrible.
I mean, yeah. I mean, 2 goals from the 4 games yesterday. Currently, 2026 has the lowest goals per game ratio of any Premier League season in history. I'm sure that will change. Hopefully, maybe. No, well done, mate. So you're like 1 point behind me now, I think, or one in front, one or the other, I think.
Is that right? I haven't looked. Yeah, I know we've always been fairly neck and neck, haven't we? So yeah, quite happy to have Gabriel in there because I mean he's already had 2 prize rises since I got him in, so I think everyone's rightly so just sort of steaming into him, aren't they? So we'll see if Rice makes it for the Bournemouth game. My intention is to roll, and I'll just play Alderete at your lot again if I have to, and then try and put some fires out for the following week because I'm still sat there with Dewsbury Hall. I've got Esteve. Like I am quite thin on the bench at the moment. So, but I think
Esteve went off injured again early, didn't he?
Yeah,
for Burnley.
But I've got no money in the bank to do anything about it. So yeah, just going to roll and maybe think about Morgan Rogers or somebody else moving forward. I mean, Cunha was a massive disappointment, wasn't he, at the weekend? Oh, the midweek just gone. I think a lot of the analytics crew captained him, didn't they? And,
yeah, I think Review had him highest, I think, for expected points. I'm not surprised the number went there. I caught the last half hour of that because when Arsenal went 2-0 up, that was enough for me.
Yeah, I did the same, yeah.
It wasn't good. We'll get there. I went early Tuesday night. The planned move this week was always Van Dijk to Gabriel. So, I mean, the steaming into he was getting into following the 15-pointer Tuesday night I think Ragabolli had tweeted about 3 hours before deadline and said, no, it's probably not going up. And then he came back an hour later and he went, I think he is actually absolutely getting steamed into. So, yeah, there was no reason for me not to do that on Tuesday night. So, yeah, in terms of what I pick this week, in terms of 11, it's very much dependent on Declan Rice, I think. I think we should note that obviously the news was leaked by The Athletic. I say leaked, but it wasn't like secret squirrel. It went out to everybody. Generally speaking, it's obviously a reliable source, and they were saying like they were pushing for him to play on Tuesday night. So you would think it's not too bad. I have a bit of a decision in terms of who would play instead, though, because there's every chance I'll just go Alderete now against Tottenham. But I think Harry Wilson against Liverpool is also fine.
It is, yeah, definitely.
Nico Riley against Chelsea might sit last on the bench now as a possibility. I want to talk about him more when we get round to the games. Let's get into them, David, because obviously it is a tight turnaround till the deadline tomorrow.
Okay, so we'll start with Burnley 1, Newcastle 3. Rapid start from Newcastle. Went 2-0 up very, very early on. Start for Johan Wissa and a goal for Johan Wissa, so maybe something for Nick Voltemade owners to consider. Maybe I think a lot of the Newcastle guys want them to play together, don't they? Maybe drop Voltemade behind Wissa.
As a 10, yeah.
Yeah. But despite that fast start, it sounds like Newcastle pretty much stopped playing for a long time after those 2 goals. And Burnley, credit to them, they kind of didn't lie down. They responded and had chances of their own. And then, Bruno Guimaraes sort of seals it late on. But it's another defeat at home for Burnley. And we get some news now, aren't we, about Josh Cullen, who sounds like his season's done as well. So, yeah.
ACL, that's a mega blow. He's the real footballer in the heart of that midfield for them. So that's monstrously bad news. They're going to struggle. It's fairly clear. Scott Parker's press conferences or interviews after the game feel like the same every bloody week, unfortunately. They give Newcastle a 2-goal head start, although I think Visser's goal should be disallowed, really. Guimaraes completely pushes Josh Lauren over. Lauren himself's got a nice finish. Yeah, really nice goal, beautiful little finish, which was an assist for Armando Broja, who you might have noticed also picked up DEFCON.
Did he really?
He did, yeah.
Yes, he did.
I guess that's the first out forward. Well, obviously, Jared Bowen picked it up before, but playing in a wide position, I think this is the first time an actual number 9. I think it's DEFCON. There's been a lot of near misses. Richarlison's been close a couple of times. Which isn't much of a surprise because all Tottenham do is defend and kick people. Very fortuitous to get that Guimaraes goal at the end. It's obviously a massive cock. I think it was Ekdal and with Dubravka cocked it up. And Guimaraes has finished it well. He does tick over really nicely. And I think for those who didn't own, the main reason not to go there was 4 yellows. I get that. It was Newcastle players were kind of in a no buy, no sell zone. It felt like this week. Guimaraes, I think now that the yellow card amnesty is gone, so anyone who's on 4 yellows, guys, you don't need to worry about anymore. You can now look at next 3 are Palace at home, and I just think ultimately at St James's, Newcastle decent. Then Leeds at home, obviously Leeds doing well, but it's at St James's. Then they go to Wolves. Short term stuff, great, but I don't think long term at the moment, because I think anything you go for Newcastle, once you hit sort of 24. You might then be thinking again, I'm not sure about this. So I've got Guimaraes and Chow. Very happy with that at the moment, but realise it's probably not a long-term solution, particularly Guimaraes. My thought process on Guimaraes probably is it's Villa at home 23, hold for that, and then actually it might be me for Rodgers in 24.
Yeah, same.
Rather than now. Lewis Hall might get minutes managed. He hit DEFCON. As did Cher, as did Lewis Miley, as did Chow. The whole of Newcastle's back 4. Hit DEFCON in this one. I might tell you quite a bit about Burnley. Lewis Hall, I would expect to play this weekend. I would say the Leeds game is a little bit more dicey, but obviously it's FA Cup weekend after. I think if he can, he'll play the majority of the guys from his core first 11 at the moment. They haven't got a lot of rotation options defensively. I did think Visser would play this one. I had him in my predicted lineup. I wouldn't be surprised if that's back to Voltemade against Crystal Palace tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I definitely wouldn't chase after Johan Visser. The ugly bit for Voltemade is, like you said, if you own, you don't want to sell across them next 3 fixtures, I think, because Palace are tired at the moment as well. And they're obviously Newcastle got 2 days extra rest on Crystal Palace going into that fixture on Sunday as well. It'll be high intensity game for Leeds against Manchester United on Sunday before they then go to Newcastle. I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle won the next 3 games, actually. I know there's been a lot of concerns from Newcastle fans. We could be sitting here going into game week 23 and they're like 6th. I mean, yeah, that definitely could be a possibility.
Lewis Hall could have had an assist as well. He puts one on a plate for Jacob Murphy towards the end of the second half. Nick Pope back in goal, worth saying, for Newcastle. So if he went there with Aaron Ramsdale, he'd probably have something to think about there. He wasn't great, was he, in terms of stepping in for Pope for that short term?
No, ultimately, I think Newcastle will probably have a different goalkeeper next year.
Yeah.
And between the sticks, neither is the long-term solution, but I would expect with Pope in goal, their defensive numbers to improve a bit. Chow actually had a header cleared off the line in the second half as well, so could have been more. If you do want to go Newcastle defense, I would go Chow. Personally, over Lewis Hall would be my take. Actually, if you want attacking one at the moment, probably is Gimrez. I'd said on the deadline stream on Tuesday, I said my thoughts on Murphy, Barnes, Gordon was that they'd probably all start 2 of the upcoming 3 games. So there is a case that maybe Jacob Murphy starts the next 2. I don't think you want to dive into that. I think there's every chance it'll be Gordon against Palace and maybe Barnes against Leeds, possibly.
Yeah. No, there'll be some rotation for sure.
I don't know if you're a Gordon owner, if you almost want him to get the substitute appearance against Palace. It's so hard for a player like Gordon to get in behind an opponent like Palace.
Yeah. Okay. Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 2. I watched the first half of this before Arsenal Villa started on Tuesday night, and I think that was all I needed to see, really. It sounds like not a massive amount happened in the second half. First half was
great.
It was great, yeah. It's sort of 100 miles an hour, tackles flying in, end-to-end stuff. In a weird way, though, like neither side came out of it with much credit, to be honest. There was like so many mistakes made at both ends. But you couldn't really say it wasn't entertaining. Penalty for Palmer, so he's sort of back scoring points now. Chelsea, I mean, obviously Maresca's gone now, but Chelsea just looks all over the place from a defensive point of view. The goal for Cliver in particular was absolutely shambolic. There's a flick on from one of the Chelsea defenders from a long throw. Don't know whether City will make use of Antoine Semenyo's long throws when he gets there, but yeah, sounds like a very exciting first half, but not a massive amount going on in the second half.
Kind of Garnacho on both of those goals, a little bit sleeping. He got taken off at half time. I don't know if it's relevant to that or not. Not that it particularly matters moving forward now. But at the time of recording, we don't even know who's going to manage Chelsea at Manchester City on Sunday. Bournemouth's XG in this first half was joke, but that is partly because the 2 chances are. I mean, what's David Brooks' XG? I suppose because the 2 chances he had probably was over 1, was it?
Yeah,
I would guess, because Sanchez obviously saves the first one. Yeah, David Brooks' XG in the game was 1.39. It might just be his goal. I'm not sure. Just a note on Bournemouth. Much better for them in terms of like their competitiveness in that first half. I don't know, 15 plus shots in the first half. They went for Chelsea. They had a good go. One to monitor for you is James Hill, who started at centre back. Now it's not a go and dive in, because I think next 4 fixtures are not great, bar one I can see in game week 21. But they go to Wolves in game week 24, and there's a better run for Bournemouth from there. Just monitor it, because he hauled the Akite off at Brentford in game week 18. Hill's come in. If he's going to play centre-back, we know obviously Senesi's great for DEFCONs. Just monitor this. He hit 13 DEFCONs against Chelsea. He's 3.9. I'm not advocating for anybody to go there. Plus, there's every chance Bournemouth will add in the market. Yeah. They kind of need to add an additional centre-back. And you need to be thinking about that with when you're investing in players at the moment. Oh, James Hill's in the Bournemouth team. Yeah, they could buy a centre-back next week. So just something I think to monitor through January, because it might be something moving forward that sits well. I think he's lost patience a bit with the Akite would be my take. It could be that it's a one-off, but the fact he got hauled off at Brentford doesn't suggest that this was a fatigue-related replacement. Semenyo, as far as we know, is going to play against Arsenal tomorrow. I presume that's at the wishes of Manchester City, and I don't blame them. Seems quite smart to me.
Yeah.
For Chelsea, what happens next? Good luck. We'll have a conversation Monday because I know a lot of people kind of advocate from Game Week 21 Chelsea assets. I think probably 22 or 24 are better entry points personally, but we don't know if the new man is going to come in and want to play Esteval every game, for example. So these sort of things need monitoring. Gary Mantle's going to come on the podcast next week. I'd messaged him before the news even was confirmed yesterday morning. I said, can we have a chat next week about what's going on? Because on the outside, I think most of us think this is mad.
Yeah.
But I also understand if there's a breakdown between manager and the people running the football club, it's endgame. And that's what this sounds like, is endgame. Just feels like we were sitting here like 5-6 weeks ago going, if Chelsea beat Arsenal, they're in the title race. And now we're here.
Certainly, it's hard to say this makes Chelsea any stronger, does it, with losing Maresca like this? Yeah, I mean, we did one of the weekenders when they absolutely tore Barcelona to shreds, didn't they? One of the Champions League one. They have been a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, obviously losing at home to Sunderland, and they had their issues in this game as well. But I don't think either of us were sat here thinking that Maresca's not an excellent manager.
Hello,
yeah, yeah.
Tottenham, ring. I'd be quite content with that.
It sounds like the board at Chelsea and the sporting directors, they want a bit of a yes man, don't they? If we're being totally honest, they don't want anyone sort of pushing back on anything that they want the club to be running. Various rumours knocking around about rows with the medical staff about use of Reece James and players like that. Well, I guess it'll all come out in the wash. Maybe Gabriel will know a little bit more than that. But yeah, it kind of first reared its head a few weeks ago, didn't it? A couple of weeks ago, before that Carabao Cup game, when kind of unprompted, Maresca said he'd had his worst 48 hours in the job.
And he didn't do the stuff after the game.
Yeah.
So not doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's obviously gone. Worth pointing out that Moises Caicedo got his 5th yellow in this game. So, I mean, what's already a tough proposition at the Etihad is going to be even tougher now. So, Haaland captain for me, no question about that this weekend.
Yeah, same. That's a mega blow for Chelsea to go into that game without Caicedo, because he could give them a proper foothold in the game. Who knows where they're at mentally?
Yeah,
going into this one. For all we know, the players hate him. Right, we've no idea. We think Liam Rosenior is going to get the job. I don't know if that's going to be an end of the season gig or a long-term gig. I really like him, by the way.
Yeah, I was worth saying he comes across, for those who haven't seen much of him or heard much of him, he comes across so thoughtful and articulate and intelligent. But we've just seen managers, more than a few managers, be sort of swallowed up by the size of this job, haven't we? And you do worry for him. But
it's a mega jump.
It's such a huge job. He's been working with, I believe, the youngest squad in all 5 leagues at Strasbourg,
That's
not
right.
just in Ligue 1. So, and they're 7th in Ligue 1 with a very young team. So he's obviously got something about him. But
it's a big jump, going from that, even just that as a statistic, going from 7th in Ligue 1 to the expectation Chelsea fans, we said the expectation for Chelsea fans should be that at the end of this season, they think they can win the league next year. Right. Well, I'm not more confident in that today than I was a couple of days ago.
No,
it's a huge jump. I wish him well, because I used to see him on, used to do analysis on EFL stuff.
Yeah.
I used to have championship with Sky and stuff. Yeah. I used to think, oh my God, you're one of the rare people I could genuinely listen to, talk to the game, get him on Premier League stuff. Yeah. So he comes across really well. He's a good speaker. He's very calm. He's obviously quite innovative with what he's doing. He's been recognised by the people in charge of Chelsea. That's why he's at Strasbourg. It's obviously a relationship between the two clubs. But on the outside, you can't help but think that is just a massive jump. And what's very different, and we cannot know, how do you deal with egos?
Yeah. Yeah.
That might be the kind of make or break of whether it's good or bad. I think if you're a Chelsea fan, largely, you must be pretty paid. It doesn't mean that it's just at the club. It can be at Maresca. I mean, it's been reported Maresca was speaking to Manchester City. That would give you the hump. I get that. But just must be pissed off with the whole situation now. It's also gone. It feels like it's gone from they're an absolute shoo-in for top 5 to thinking, well, I don't really know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, as a Liverpool fan, not disappointed with this news. To be honest, it's yeah, they're kind of in the mix in a similar league position as Liverpool. So I think they're definitely weaker without Maresca than with him. No doubt about that. Sure, Gary will have plenty to say.
Yeah, that's probably going to be Wednesday. It might be Thursday, but it'll be after the 21. After the 21 deadline, we'll have Gary on.
Yeah, there's every chance they'll have someone in by then, I'm sure.
I would have thought so.
Nottingham Forest 0, Everton 2. Second win in as many weeks for Everton over Forest. Yeah, James Garner's doing bits, isn't he? He might be one to think about.
That assist for the second goal. I mean, he takes the goal that he scores really well. But, not many people mug off Murillo, and he's completely turned him inside out and then played the right pass. And you can see if there's an angle behind Garner, watch him. He's like, don't fuck that up for me. This is an absolutely brilliant assist. Yeah, he is doing well. His DEFCONs have gone through the roof recently as well. 19 in this one, 15 at Burnley beforehand. He got 12 and 13 against Arsenal and Everton, respectively. So 4 in a row. He picked it up at, he was actually not 4 in a row because 12's enough, isn't it? He was just short of Bournemouth a couple before that. So he's now hit DEFCON 8 times this season, but obviously 50% of them are in the last 4. Whether there's a consequence here, just to think about, if people do want to invest on him recording more DEFCONs and Idrissa Gana Gueye being absent, maybe there's a correlation there. So it would maybe slow down further down the road. Yeah, 5 million. Decent. Not going to argue it.
Yeah.
Very good footballer. He's probably just got too much competition, I think, to break into the England squad. But he'd walk into my midfield at Tottenham. I really like him. He's a good footballer, James Garner.
Would you go for him or Xhaka as like a potential Dewsbury Hall replacement?
I just think with that James Garner at the moment, the fixtures are good. I mean, Brentford, Wolves at home. In terms of next 2, is probably them and West Ham probably got the best 2 next fixtures. Consequence, they both play Wolves. Yeah, there's probably something to do with that. Yeah. Probably Xhaka. So you know exactly what you've got now. Like I said, with Garner, it could be this is correlating with Gana Gueye being absent. It might be. But yeah, he ticks over nicely. You do way worse than have that as a 5 million midfielder. I think ultimately, when Dewsbury Hall's back, though, you'll look at Dewsbury Hall as cheaper, and so it's like the gif with the guy and the girl who's sitting over his shoulder. That's that could be Garner and Dewsbury Hall. It feels like in a few weeks if you end up there. Absolutely brilliant result for Everton. I'll be honest, I thought they'd get bait.
Michael Keane out as well. No, Michael Keane.
You see that blow. David Moyes, I think, had said pre-game, like in the build-up at the City game, he said that Jack Grealish shouldn't even be here, basically, but has used him as a substitute. So I would presume Jack's probably back in the team for the week. I wouldn't go gambling that for 2 weeks, personally. Barry scored. It could easily be Beto back in the team this week. We don't know the prognosis on Michael Keane at the time of recording. But ultimately, he's probably in a no-buy zone now anyway, because we think after these next 2 fixtures, Jared Brantwaite might be back available, and it would be the threat to Michael Keane's place in the team. I wouldn't chase after Tarkowski. I don't particularly think that's worth the money. If anyone's on, they're going to be happy, and you're not dealing with it. Now, unfortunately, despite them next 2, I probably wouldn't be chasing after Everton. We should also acknowledge, though, I don't know if that changed again after last night, but Jordan Pickford must be close with Robin Rose for top scoring keeper in the game now.
I think Rose is the top scorer, but I'll check that in the background.
I think Pickford went top on Tuesday night, and Rose probably overtaken him again last night. That's correct. Yeah.
Rose on 90, Pickford at 86.
Yeah. So Pickford's got 7 more points than Raya.
Yeah. He's always good for points, isn't he, Pickford? It's just because he was given
absolutely solid,
well-deserved price rise. Hardly anyone has sort of gone there, really, have they?
Well, I think as well, if Brantwaite was to come back in the team for Michael Keane, people will look at Pickford more, because ultimately over this period, the best choice has been Michael Keane rather than Jordan Pickford. But that obviously might change with the injury and Brantwaite being due back fairly soon. So, yeah, despite them next 2 fixtures, I've got Leeds at home 23 as well. I won't be looking at Everton personally. For Nottingham Forest, this felt like a damaging result. Dip below the line of 1 point per game. And I always say if you're above it, you're not in trouble, basically. And I think this is really disappointing, because that Everton side at the moment really should be there for the taking. And they've underwhelmed. And it's a really big kind of week or so for them now. Obviously, go to Villa is the early kickoff tomorrow. wouldn't necessarily fancy them. They'll have eyes on what's happening with West Ham at Wolves, and then the two teams play each other on Tuesday. I mean, West Ham feels like they've got to take 4 odd points from the 2 games, almost at a minimum. Forest play Arsenal afterwards as well. So I think, over their shoulder a little bit, because that's not miles off kind of first choice team for them. Olarena, we think, can probably play tomorrow.
Okay.
By the way, we think he can now be registered. There might be some confirmation of that later today. And obviously, he was great in FPL last year. He's only 4.7. Might be one to monitor. Obviously, Savona came out the team anyway. Zinchenko went in at left back. And Nico Williams played right back. You'd imagine they'll do something in January, Forest, based on they just do anyway, history. Don't they?
Is Chris Wood's out and Igor Jesus isn't scoring the goals at the moment. Not saying he's not doing a good job for the team. It sounds like he works hard and offers quite a bit, but not in terms of goal output. Yeah, they are the team that West Ham are kind of pinning a bit of hopes on at the moment, aren't they? At the moment, if they can get the 3 points at Wolves tomorrow and.
Yeah, someone like that, Igor Jesus, people think, oh, that's my solution. Actually, but, there's West Ham, there's Brentford, there's Leeds, kind of up to sort of 25 and stuff like that. Yeah, you could get to the end of the month and final day, Forest go, bollocks, says 40 million on a forward or something. They always feel like they can be like that, don't they? And West Ham have already started trying to make some moves by the sound of it in the market as well.
Let's get on to West Ham. They drew 2-0 with Brighton on Tuesday. Again, another mad first half, 3 penalties, one of which was a missed Panenka from Welbeck, which I don't know. This is a really weird thing about some players on oppositions. When someone does a Panenka, they seem to get really annoyed about it, like almost disrespected. Like Mateus Fernandes just lost his mind when Welbeck missed that Panenka.
I think that's quite clever, by the way, from Fernandes, and that's a bit naughty.
Fires people up, yeah.
No, it's not that. As a player, if you take a Panenka, you've got to score. Yeah, because what
it wasn't a bad effort, in fairness, was it?
He's just got a bit too much on it, right? He's done the keeper. He's just got a bit too much on it. But in that moment, the players, oh no, I've missed a Panenka. To get in his face, you've got a small chance that he's gonna lamp you. Yeah. I thought that was worth a try, actually, and God knows West Ham needs to try some things because it's not great at the moment. Suj watched the game. He was very much of the opinion that if there was going to be a winner, Brighton would have more likely. West Ham lost Todibo now, so we presume Mavropanos will come back in. It kind of probably takes away the idea of them playing a back 5 anytime soon. They could use Igor Julio. He was ineligible in midweek. Course, yeah. They're missing the fullbacks at the moment, and when they get Diouf and Wan-Bissaka back, that'll be better. They are, as I said, trying to make moves in the transfer market. I think they're buying a forward from Portugal, who I'm sure Nuno knows pretty well. Yeah, what a huge week for them. If they lose the 2 games, I think they'll probably change manager.
Yeah, I mean this game at Wolves,
or even if they don't win any, they might.
Yeah. It's such a sticky game, this game at Wolves as well, isn't it? Because it seems weird to say for a team who's only got 3 points, but they probably are feeling a little bit better about life now, Wolves, and they're playing with a bit of freedom that West Ham won't have.
I've seen a few calls. I mean, I said this a few weeks ago about Wolves that I think probably playing away from home would be easier than at home.
Yeah.
And actually look at Wolves, the last 3 away games, I mean, they've acquitted themselves. Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, right? They've acquitted themselves pretty well, actually. They're only kind of -1 in terms of goal difference across the 3 games. I've seen a few Wolves accounts kind of trying to rally people around tomorrow to say, like, look, whatever you're thinking about the ownership, just park it just for tomorrow. Because they're so desperate to win, aren't they? And I said this to Suj on Tottenham, we did on Patreon on Wednesday. He said, for Wolves, on paper, this is the easiest game they've got left.
Right, yeah, I guess it is, yeah, that's true.
They would have played Forest at home, they've played Burnley at home, they played Leeds at home. So all the other teams that are kind of down there at the moment, they've played at home already. It's just West Ham left. So just on that probability, yeah, they're as likely to win this game as any they've got left. They'll be as desperate to win that game as West Ham will. It's a shame. There's 8 games in the UK on television this way, and I'm gutted this isn't one of them.
Yeah, it would have been a good watch, that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a hate wash as well, isn't it? Oh, someone else is worse off than me kind of gig. West Ham are not guaranteed to go there and win.
No, I agree with that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got turned over, mate.
Yeah. If they were to get rid of
They
Nuno,
can't.
like
They can't.
where would they go after Nuno? I don't think. No idea where they would go. Really, it's they've not historically been someone who are really reactive in terms of managerial sackings. West Ham, are they? So I imagine they will sort of allow Nuno to get some players in January. But yeah, definitely squeaky bum time.
Yeah, there was massively.
I mean, obviously a goal for Bowen. A few people will have brought him in. I think Sudge did, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't mind at the moment if people want to look at that for a few games. I mean, actually, if you had the Tottenham and Sunderland games after, I know Sunderland doing great. As a fixture, it's still fine. Next four are decent, really, on the whole for West Ham. Actually, two after they go to Burnley as well. So if people want to go Bowen, yeah, I don't mind. All I'd say is his returns will be like at any point. Don't be surprised if he has a couple of shit blanks and then scores at Tottenham and scores at Chelsea. Like he feels like he's that sort of player. Yeah. He's a clear talisman. If people want to go there because they've got an issue in the forward position, I have no problem with that at all. I wouldn't look at anything else from West Ham.
No,
clearly not really. I know Paquetá's obviously got a decent haul, obviously penalty and really nice assist. He's also obviously, what's he doing on Lewis Dunk on that penalty is woeful. I have seen a mention this morning on Yankuba Mintah because he went off injured. I think the intention is for him to train today. So you might even be in a position where he's available. And if you own, I know he will have frustrated, but you obviously do want him for that Burnley game tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think Fabian Hertz has done something this morning. I did see that on the tweet this morning. Please double check that. But yeah, it sounds like there's every chance Minter will be available.
Okay.
They're so inconsistent.
Yeah, I'm not looking at anything Brighton at the moment in FPL terms. Arsenal 4, Aston Villa 1. There was kind of no inkling that this scoreline was coming at half time. I didn't think it was. Villa had some interesting situations on the counter in that first half, and Ollie Watkins, I think, should do much better with at least one of the chances he was presented with. Villa were sort of doing all the things you would sort of expect an away team to do at the Emirates. You know, Martinez was up to his old tricks. They were slowing the game down, posed a threat on the counter. But whatever Arteta said at half time, it's an absolute treat because I thought they were brilliant in the second half. Arsenal, they were just absolutely relentless.
I only saw about 10 minutes of it. And it was enough.
Yeah, let me say some nice things about Arsenal because I know it's tough for you. But I thought Zubimendi and Odegaard were absolutely brilliant in midfield. Seem to have a really good sort of relationship in terms of unlocking the door. Gabriel goal. I think a few people were hoping it wasn't going to be given to Gabriel, but I think it is a Gabriel goal. I've seen a few
people saying he didn't touch it.
He definitely did touch it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Are we serious here?
Yeah.
I'm not an owner, but it's clear as day that it touches him. I don't know if people are like pulling legs or they're just upset that they didn't own him and he scored. It's clear as day that he does touch Gabriel.
Yeah, Arsenal were great in the second half. Another cracking goal from Trossard, who he's quietly under the radar.
Yeah, do you know what though? He's one of them. You'd go and buy him, and then suddenly he's out the team.
Yeah, you wouldn't buy him in FPL. I don't think there's just other sort of more viable FPL assets. I think. Yeah, I mean, you could argue that this was perhaps always on the cards. Really, when you've looked at the underlying data that Villa have had in this absolutely brilliant run that they've been on, might not be a surprise that Arsenal
did all right the first half, particularly
they did.
Villa.
They did, yeah, and it's there's no shame in losing at Arsenal for Villa, and it was always going to come to an end at some point this run. So they'll the fixture turn fairly soon, don't they? You could argue now, and there'll be a team that we start to look at, I guess, certainly in terms of Morgan Rogers to get into.
Rogers and Watkins were the only two players to go up in price last night, I think. So yeah, that tells you something.
Watkins looks a bit better, yeah.
So I've got some breaking Arsenal team news for you.
Okay.
Ricardo Calafiori is out for tomorrow if you still own. So if anyone's, Calafiori's back, right, you're looking at Gabriel again. Mosquera remains out as well. On Declan Rice, Mikel Arteta has said this morning the swelling has not gone down yet, but he will be assessed today to see how it has responded. There's a chance that Arteta's not seen much of him yesterday. Recovery game. Oh no, they played Tuesday, didn't they? He probably has.
Tuesday. Yeah.
I don't want to influence what people do, but my instinct on that would be that he probably doesn't play from that.
We've got Liverpool, haven't they, on Thursday?
Yeah, there's a chance. There's a chance that tomorrow is a tougher game for Arsenal, mate. Bournemouth will bring a whole different intensity to Liverpool. Do you honestly think you're going to get anything at the Emirates at the moment? Sorry, Dave.
Let's talk about Man United.
You can come back and bully me in a little bit. On Rice, all I'd say is that I invested in him prior to game week 18. And unless he's out, and I don't mean out of this week, but out, I'd bought him in for a long-term purpose. I'm in a position where I've got people like Wilson or Alderete to come off the bench, which feels fine if that's what it's going to be. I don't want to sell Declan Rice because I think I know that I want to go back. If it's a long-term problem, he's getting dealt with. I wouldn't be dealing with it personally this week. The obvious transfer there is Rodgers if you don't own. At a similar kind of value if you can get there. So I think that might develop to be quite a popular transfer today is Rice to Rodgers. It's not going to work for me. It's going to take actually a -8 for me to do it now because I wouldn't have the money to go straight there. So I think, Morgan Rodgers, I'm going to assess over the next 4. Maybe for me in game week 24, it might be Watkins in game week 24, possibly. We can rule him out the title race. I'm sorry, villains. You've had an absolutely brilliant run. On Gabriel,
Ekitike to Watkins might be a popular switch, mightn't it? I think fairly soon.
Do we make anything of the fact that Watkins' returns have come in, dare we say, tougher fixtures?
He didn't actually start at Chelsea, did he, when he scored those?
Goals. His goals, he obviously he scored it. You can't miss. It's actually kind of all Daniel Marlin's work. He obviously had a really good chance in the first half after Ezri Konsa nicked in to win possession ahead of Victor Gyökeres. Watkins come and scored twice at Chelsea. He scored twice at Brighton. His only other goal this season was at home to Fulham. Now, the last time I said something about players and home returns, it was about Morgan Rodgers just before Villa played Manchester United and he scored twice. So, you wouldn't rule out Watkins. Watkins wants monitoring. The problem is we know that he's now carrying a problem and they're managing him. So I don't think you can be that shocked if he doesn't start tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think he probably will because their spacing's okay. 4 days, and then I want to say it's 4 days before they play Palace. I think it's Wednesday.
There's enough doubt there, though, isn't there? Probably, yeah.
I would say on Ollie Watkins, I would say that he's not a certain starter tomorrow because we know that they're managing him. He's got an issue that at some point needs dealing with, we think. So, but he's looked great. I mean, his impact at Chelsea was stunning. He looked like peak Ollie Watkins. Confidence was back, everything. Maybe the kind of working out in terms of managing his minutes is actually going to help him moving forward. But I'd be aware of that because I think you look at Voltemade and Vissa and you're like, oh, that's an awkward one. Which forward do I get? Which you go, Watkins is clear and Marlon. Yeah, but it might be that things like Nottingham Forest, that Emery goes, can I manage this without Watkins? And actually, it's only last weekend that Watkins didn't start at Chelsea. Mm-hmm. So I'd be aware of that personally. Rodgers, I think, is the one that you want to go to. If you're not there, if you want to go there, if you haven't got Gabriel, David, does it feel like it's just got to be done?
I think so. Yeah, he's someone you're going to want for the rest of the season, isn't he? Probably. If I'm right in saying they've got a double, likely to have a double reasonably soon. If the Carabao
soon, if it happens, and we will do a bit of chip talk stuff after the FA Cup third round. As said right at the top, if you think they're using chips, guys, and like a hold fire at the moment, but it would be 26 or 27.
Yeah,
if it happens. So
it's only 5 or 6 game weeks time, isn't it? I mean, it's who. Like, would you now do Timber to Gabriel? I wouldn't do. I'm not sure I would do that myself.
I said this on our differential show on Tuesday on Patreon. Strong warning against selling Timber.
Yeah, Van Dijk to Gabriel. I would just do that.
Yeah, I've done it. I think that's an obvious easy one. And there's a lot of people can't get there with Gabriel at the moment, and I completely understand that. So if it's a case of setting it for the next week or the week after, fine. But I do feel like ultimately most of us want to get there.
Yeah.
It almost feels like taking on like Haaland in a kind of like a different way. Like it's gonna hurt. I think, and I've thought this for a long time, even with the players injured, that it will head back to wanting double Arsenal defence. I'm on Timber and Gabriel. I'm pretty happy with that because I think that's the best two.
Yeah.
So, would you, if you're a Raya owner, are you working it around? There'll be people sitting there with like Raya, Timber, Saka. This is where it gets awkward. I wouldn't be forcing it. I'd be maybe trying to set it to move it around.
Yeah, I wouldn't be rushing. I wouldn't be like taking hits to take Raya out of the team to get Gabriel in, but I would have a consciousness of it to try and, if you're in a position to do so, roll some transfers to be able to get there and sort of restructure your team. I think, Raya, excellent keeper as he is. I mean, he makes another great save in this game after the one from Minter in the previous game week. So he's a very good goalkeeper, but he just doesn't offer what Gabriel does at the other end of the pitch, obviously. So, I would, if you've got no other fires to put out and you don't have Gabriel, he would be priority one for me, I think.
Start of this game tomorrow will be really interesting. Bournemouth tend to come out the traps firing, even against some of the bigger clubs. But to maintain it for 90 minutes is tough. Do they go hard and fast at the start, or do they hold off a bit? My instinct would be they go for it early, hoping they get in front and then sit off. Obviously, if Arsenal then score first, it's a massive problem, and then it completely plays into Arsenal's hands. Should be a good game that tomorrow night, though.
I think Arteta would have been watching that Sunderland-Man City game last night with a big smile on his face, won't he? Because Sunderland gave City just as hard a game as they gave Arsenal a few weeks ago.
Very different atmosphere. Yeah. Arsenal haven't got to deal with that kind of atmosphere at Bournemouth. That's a certainty. But they might deal with a similar type of game. It's a challenge there. Arsenal haven't got too many away hurdles left to go. This is actually one of the worst ones left. It would be a big result for Arsenal if they win. Ultimately, I think that they will.
Yeah. Manchester United 1, Wolves 1. I turned this on
as soon as Zubimendi scored.
I think it was 3-0 when I turned it on, because when I turned it on, Amorim was bringing on Lenny Yoro and a kid I've literally never heard of called Mantato. I was thinking, those are interesting subs to make when you're chasing a goal against like bottom of the league. But when you look at the bench that he had, United's bench the other night, it's like the only sort of recognisable senior players they had were Malacia, who he's barely used, Lenny Yoro, who he brought on, and then it's just a load of academy players. So yeah, the availability Amorim's got at the moment is such that they are just getting worse as games go on at the moment. He's got nothing to bring on from the bench. And like when I turned it on, Wolves were sniffing for a winning goal.
Yeah.
It was quite a good watch, really, because
it was a hate watch.
It was a bit go on. I was enjoying it, not going to lie. Just you look at the team that United put out. They've got Casemiro and Ugarte in midfield. Xerxes got a game and a goal, albeit deflected. Dorgu's playing on the left. Seshko's struggling, isn't he? But from Cunha, disappointed everyone who went there, including myself. So yeah, it's not fun for United at the moment, is it? It's very tough.
There's two sides to this. Firstly, on Amorim, it feels inexplicable that he changed the system back again to the back three, having had success in terms of result against Newcastle. And I think the way the team played in the first half, they suffered badly in the second half.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that's down to personnel. Why he's changed it, I think every Manchester United fan is struggling to explain and try and understand why you've finally gone away from it and now playing at home to the worst team in the league. You want to set back up with a back five off the ball. It's confusing, and I understand that. However, at the same time, that squad that Manchester United had available on Tuesday night is rough.
Yeah.
That squad, I promise you, if that was their squad for the whole year, would finish bottom six. And if that's the squad that goes to Leeds on Sunday, they will get beat.
Mm-hmm.
They won't survive it. Leeds are the intensity is going to be through the roof. It's just a little shame for Leeds that Ethan Ampadu is going to be suspended. Leeds have even held a few players back last night. This is their game on Sunday. They're going to be so up for it. Let's see if Fernandes or Mount is back. The little things like that will make a big difference. Xerxes going off at halftime seems bizarre. I presume that's an off the ball factor in terms of the decision, and I presume also in terms of the decision in terms of the system as well, because I think Usher's concerns about Cunha off the ball in game week 1, straight after the game against Arsenal. Xerxes off the ball in terms of defensive stuff isn't great either. Sesko it's not great in the press either. So it's probably that. It's probably I ain't got the personnel. Like a Mason Mount will go and trigger stuff for you. Very disciplined player. You can give Mason Mount a load of tactical information. He'll go and take it on and provide it. What's available there, I'm not sure it does in the same way. And that's probably ultimately why he's gone, I can't press properly here. I'm going to go back to it. It's also worth acknowledging Wolves also have gone there with a completely patched up team. It looks like they played Doherty in the middle of the back three, I think.
Yeah, I think that's
Complete
right. Yeah,
mess. That's weird. They played John Arias basically in midfield with João Gomez. João Gomez played a deeper role, and they let the kind of the four in front go. So they went there completely patched up as well. Good luck to them. And as I said, they're going to be really up for that game tomorrow.
I mean, I watched them at Anfield the day after Boxing Day, and they haven't thrown the towel in. They are trying their best, and the fans. It was a full away end at Anfield, and they were really behind the team. So I'm pleased for them. They got a point here, not just because they're playing United, but I don't think they're as bad a team as being on 3 points.
The statistics tell us that.
Yeah,
the underlying data tells us that they're probably not the worst team in the league.
Yeah, Mane started again. Look from the bits I saw that he had another decent game.
By the way, they are just for clarity,
yeah.
But some of the data suggests that they're not.
Yeah. Great header from Krejci for the goal. I thought it was.
It was, and I'm not going to be critical of Lambs on the goal. I don't think he's good enough, but I don't think people are talking about it because he's definitely better than what was there before.
Mm-hmm.
And he's young, so he may well improve. But I've seen some stuff lately that's questionable.
Yeah, look from the rewatched match of the day. Before this pod, it looked like the closest United came to the winning goal was actually an own goal where Jose Sardos. Have you seen him scrambling back to
the Mosquera header?
Mosquera header, yeah.
Yeah, there was nearly points for Dorgu owners.
Yeah.
He was offside, obviously, with the disallowed goal. He had a decent effort in the first half as well. Ultimately, if you have invested in Manchester United, whether it's Cunha, Dorgu, Aiden Heaven, whatever that looks like, in most cases, you are using it for these next two fixtures. I certainly, if someone who's investing in Cunha, haven't just gone, oh my God, he's blanked against Wolves, I'm going to take a -4 for Rodgers.
No, of course not. Yeah.
And actually for him, he might find the space in the 2 away games coming up, like more to his liking. And not just Leeds, but after Burnley are at a point now where it doesn't matter who they're playing. You come, oh, Manchester United at home, take a draw. No, if it's this Manchester United, you should be looking to beat it. So Cunha for me is a hold for the next 2.
Same, yeah.
and then probably move it on in 22. They have Man City at home in 22, then Arsenal away 23. So escape is there. It could be another entry point for Rodgers, but also I think it's a nice entry point for Chelsea. So I'm kind of going to be more difficult now, but something like Cunha to Enzo Fernandez in 22, maybe for myself. Okay, let's move on to all the excitement from last night, shall we?
Oh, what a day. Yeah. Let's talk about...
Should we start as we don't mean to go on, basically? My goodness.
Crystal Palace 1, Fulham 1. Fulham were pressing for a winner at the end here from what I could see on the limited match of the day highlights I saw. Cracking goal from Tom Kearney. I'm going to say that's goal of the year so far, out of the 2 that were scored this year.
That's harsh on Mateta.
Yeah, sorry, Jean-Philippe. Said on the graphic came up on Match of the Day that was interesting. That was Palace's first home goal against Fulham since 2019. Which
that's a weird start.
Weird start, yeah. Glasner said after the game that they are in survival mode at the moment. That's how he referred it.
I think he's right.
Yeah, he's saying they've just got so many games. They've had so many games, and they've still got so many games to come as well. So yeah,
he's part responsible for that, though.
He is definitely. Yeah,
no, he is. He has not rotated that team enough. I said this months ago. He's going to come and bite.
Brennan Johnson coming though. I know you'll be sorry to see Brennan go.
Absolutely gutted.
You're driving there yourself, won't you, probably.
I mean, he does score goals, and my team has a problem scoring goals. So I get the link. Yeah. I personally, I think it's a bad move for him.
You think so?
Yeah, I do actually. I think someone like Everton, I spoke about this with a few of our patrons on Wednesday. I think something like Everton would have been a much better fit because Everton have got good carriers in and Dyer, Grealish. They haven't got anyone who wants to go behind. It's kind of ideal for Johnson, right? I think the narrowness of Palace's two players behind Mateta means that he can get into position. But I think ultimately the balance that they have with kind of one speedster like Ismail Assar, who can also go in behind, and one more technical player like Jeremy Pino works as the balance. So Johnson, I'm sure we'll see minutes like with Conference League and stuff like that. But I don't know if it's a right fit. I think ultimately they're going to have a different manager there next year. They might be playing a back four. And then if it becomes like a Sarr versus Johnson right wing again, Sarr's a better player.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great move for him. He will score goals. So legitimately, he is worth watching for fantasy. Big ring around Crystal Palace game week 26-27 in terms of those two home fixtures against Burnley Wolves. And yeah, Brennan Johnson should be someone that is monitored very, very closely. But also, you've kind of got to wait till Ismail Assar's back to see how that looks when he's available. So, one to monitor, I think, in coming months. There will definitely be a week this season where Brennan Johnson is a thing for fantasy. I was asked last week on one of the streams about a Tottenham asset, and I said he was the best one at the moment because he would get sold. They are fatigued, Palace.
Yeah,
they're tired.
Yeah.
And I'd be aware of that in terms of defensive options at the moment. I'm not suggesting we go and bin Gay or Lacroix, or if you're on Klein, he's got an assist. None of that whatsoever, but I would be very aware of it. However, I would also have an awareness of those two fixtures that I said. They also have Leeds at home in 30. They go to Manchester United and Tottenham 28-29. So when you hit game week 26, they actually go top of my ticker. So it might be a case if you're on these Palace guys at the moment, suffer it a little bit. It might come back round. The chance after that good run of Palace, for many people, the wild card won't be till after that. So I'd probably sit. Would I go and buy anything new from them at the moment? No. Like, would you go Voltamade to Mateta at the moment? No. Devaney's worth keeping an eye on as well, in the sense that he's 4.3, but Johnson, Sarr, when he's back from AFCON, is obviously going to influence his minutes moving forward. He's not going to be a regular starter. Will Hughes might be a doubt for the game at Newcastle this weekend. And if Chris Richards isn't back, that's potentially a problem. Because they've been playing Lerma at centre-back, right?
Fulham?
Say that again, Dave.
Yeah, no, that's true, yeah.
I lost you for a sec, but I think...
I was saying anything on Fulham?
Yeah, they're doing a decent little run, which I think was needed. They've got tough fixtures on paper, but I'm sure Liverpool and Chelsea, respectively, both neither looking at Craven Cottage as a gimme in terms of results. They've done well because the three players have obviously gone to play for Nigeria, and they've coped with that period pretty well. Anthony Robinson has come back in almost seamlessly, actually, playing really well. I wouldn't look at it for fantasy. Him and his owners may be more looking over their shoulder and moving on. But do you know what? Again, he should be pretty secure for minutes for what ultimately is two home games. And if they do all right in either of them, you can bet he'll probably be in and around it. Just a note on them as well. Josh King didn't play yesterday, wasn't in the squad, waiting for reports on that. There is a suggestion going round that it could be a bad injury. Touchwood he's not, because he's a brilliant young talent, but I know he'll be sitting in a few people's teams, and because of other issues, it might be kind of looking for that sort of thing at the moment. You might want to have fingers on that and eyes on the prize. Potts, Miley, alternatives to consider. Devaney maybe, but Devaney's going to be really short term. If you need it, it's Miley or Potts probably at that valuation, isn't it?
Okay, let's talk about Liverpool 0, Leeds 0.
Do you want to?
Not massively, no.
This is the bit where the podcast might go on longer than it should.
No, I definitely don't want to do 20 minutes on Liverpool there, to be honest. Especially when I saw the Leeds lineup. No Tanaka, no Bogle, no Okafor, no Calvert-Lewin. These are players who've definitely they're better players. So credit to Leeds for getting a result. Without those players, they've obviously been holding them back for this big game that they've got against United on Sunday. So, yeah, I mean, if you were to look at the stats, having not seen the game, you would say Liverpool are a little bit unlucky not to win it in terms of, creating best part of 2 goals of XG, way more shots, way more possession, blah, blah, blah. Actually, it was pretty poor from Liverpool. Slot has kind of prioritised during this, I'm going to say, kind fixture run, making us more solid defensively, which we are. I think it's fair to say that. We're not giving up a massive amount of sort of chances from a defensive point of view, but what that's meant is we're a very tough watch. In an attacking sense now, it's we just make very heavy weather of breaking teams down. And so was the case on yesterday. On another day, I mean, if Ekitike goes down when he's sort of manhandled a bit in the box there, we probably do get a penalty.
I mean, this is why players do go down easy.
Yeah, he should do. And then seconds later, Wirtz has a chance, and it's a brilliant block from James Justin to prevent a goal. But that was about as good as it got, to be honest. I mean, I can't begrudge Leeds a point. And if Calvert-Lewin is a little bit sort of on the other side
dangling his leg out and just keeps it keep his leg shut, but he's offside by a foot, isn't he?
They'd have pinched it, yeah. So it's hard work watching us at the moment, and things are about to get much tougher now from a fixture point of view. We've got Fulham on Sunday, which is not an easy game. Then we go to Arsenal. Yeah, it's pretty tricky. We have got Burnley at home after that, so you'd hope we would get 3 points out of that. But yeah, it's like Wirtz is playing. Well, he's not like exactly hugging the touchline on the left-hand side, but he's wider than you would hope. We didn't buy him to do that job. I know needs must a little bit, but now Gakpo, whatever anyone thinks about Gakpo, who's a Liverpool fan, you'd rather him there than Wirtz. I would want him in more central areas. Ekitike was isolated quite a lot from an attacking point of view. Felt a little bit sorry for him. He could have scored. He had a great headed chance. Should have got a penalty, so that would have been an FPL assist.
The data on him yesterday is great.
Yeah, Liverpool aren't good enough. That's what I've got to say. Really, it's pretty painful to watch at the moment.
Ultimately, you're not aiming for first.
No,
right? You're aiming to finish in the top 5, and 5th, as I've said several times, is definitely going to be enough for a Champions League place. Right, you're in 4th with a bit of a buffer, which I get. If you'd have won this, you'd have been comfortably clearing it. But there's nothing behind you showing any consistency.
That's the thing.
So there isn't any expectation. Liverpool don't even need to be a 2 points per game team to finish top 5. I mean, the run rate for 5th at the moment, I want to say, is 60 points. Chelsea on 30, are they?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So I think there's 5 points from Chelsea down to Brighton in 14th, I want to say.
Chelsea on 30, United on 30, so Sunderland 29, sorry. Yeah.
If anybody has a run of like 3 games in a row, they're going to be in that position from that group of like Brighton upwards. So, but who's showing that consistency? Liverpool are probably going to be 1.7 points per game to finish top 5 comfortably.
Yeah, I think we'll finish top 5. Yeah.
And there'll be eyes on maybe FA Cup a little bit, not so much in terms of the third round game with Barnsley. I'm sure you'll get rotation for that. But if you had a tougher tie further down the line, is there more focus on it? Champions League, obviously, as well. So, yeah, I don't think you go and buy Liverpool new at this point.
No.
It's more, do you keep or sell? So I'll give you some names. Van Dijk, keep or sell?
Well, I'm keeping him for at least this week coming, but with a view to... I'll have to give it some thought about who I would downgrade him to and what would I use that money for. Sitting here already with Gabriel and Timber in my team. But I mean, as we said before, if you can get from Van Dijk to Gabriel, that's a bit of a no-brainer from my point of view, I think.
I think in your position, the one I'd possibly be looking at is Trevor Chalobah, not for this week, next week.
Okay. Interesting one. Yeah, I mean, Ekitike, loads of us went there for this Wolves-Leeds combo. He's a little bit unlucky not to get goals in both games, really. Fulham away isn't a must-sell. You probably have reasonably low expectations at Arsenal, being honest.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
He's going nowhere for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely nowhere.
Got Burnley ahead. Yeah.
Just ultimately, you've watched the game, but he looked the liveliest player yesterday. He could have had returns. I think in a different game, different it just pans out differently. He's goal and assist.
Yeah, he's the most likely for sure. Yeah.
And minutes, I think, are largely going to be pretty secure.
Oh yeah,
moving forward. We know Isak's probably not going to be back till sort of maybe April time or something. You may go into the market and that might change that opinion, but actually moving forward, for was he 9 million invested at like 8.6, I think. Well, I'll be sticking with Gtech personally, and that would be my advice to most people. I can probably bench him at Arsenal, by the way, which is it's helpful. I get that, but yeah, he's going nowhere for me. You go Gtech, very happy to keep that. But anything else I had to be concerned about? That Verts, does that get moved on?
Yeah, move it on.
Szoboszlai?
That's slightly different.
That's an easier one, isn't it, to keep?
Yeah. If there's something you really like, then fine. But obviously, he's going to play all the time now. He's not that expensive. I wouldn't be against keeping Szoboszlai.
Frimpong? For anyone who went there, a few have. Obviously, he's played right wing yesterday. Yeah,
he's not a right winger. He's just quick, basically.
We have a word for that on Planet FPL, David. Is he?
Crapid. No, he's not crapid. Like he is a decent ball carrier, but I think from an FPL point of view, you can look at him yesterday and go, "Oh, brilliant! He's playing on the right wing." He's actually better as an FPL asset if he's playing at fullback with all that space ahead of him to carry the ball in. He was one of our better performers yesterday. In fairness to Frimpong, and you wouldn't know that he's missed quite a lot of action in recent times. So credit to him. We're just kind of down to the bare bones at the moment. Obviously, Salah's away, Isak's injured, so from attacking options are kind of thin on the ground. Frimpong does offer us some much needed pace in wide areas, which it is a big issue. That's why Semenyo would have made a lot of sense. Semenyo's a homegrown player as well, which will affect our ability to do anything in the January transfer window. We haven't got any non-homegrown spots available at the moment, so that's why Gay and Semenyo are probably the biggest links at the moment. But I don't think the way we've done business in the past, I don't think we'd spend like 25 million on Gay to get him in 6 months earlier when there'd be half a chance of getting him for free in the summer. Whether Liverpool would still be his preferred destination, I don't know. So yeah, it's pretty mundane stuff at the moment at Liverpool. But as you've just said, there's not a massive amount of fear behind us at the moment in terms of teams.
You are 7 unbeaten,
chasing us down. Yeah,
you should be with those 7 fixtures you've had, but you are 7 unbeaten. It's a start, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's a lot of Liverpool fans sort of raging and sort of deciding that they've seen enough with Slot. I've said many times, I'm not quite there. I think we are at the point now where if we finish in a Champions League place, give an FA Cup run, sort of hang around the last stages of the Champions League with all that's gone on over the last 6 months or so, that would be a reasonable effort, I think, this season, and try and fix what is a very unbalanced squad in the summer. There's mistakes have been made on and off the pitch. There's no doubt about that. But if we finish in the top 5, I'd probably shake hands on that at the moment, I think.
I think you would, and I think that you will achieve it. Just a couple of things on Leeds before we move on, which I don't really want to move on, so I might do an hour on them, actually. Goodmanson at 3.8. Nice return yesterday, 8-pointer. If people are in that kind of zone of like Estev and they've said they've got nowhere to go, I mean, I quite like Alderete of Sunderland as an option, but I think Goodmanson, I know he's a fullback, 3.8-ish or so, you'd do a lot worse than that. He's worth saying Reynildo of Sunderland at the same price when he's back as well would be another option at that bracket. So there's nothing wrong with having that as your 5th choice defender. And also credit to Leeds as well, because we spoke about them resting a few. Joe Rodon injured as well, not even spoke about it. And they've coped. And there's another Leeds asset that's very interesting. On top of Calvert-Lewin, who, by the way, will obviously come back in the team at the weekend. Anton Stack, 4.9. We mentioned him more and more. He's only scored less than 4 points in FPL in a game that he started once since game week 10. That was a 1-1 draw at Brentford. His returns 5, 4, 8, 2, 12, 6, No minutes at Manchester City. 4 points with an assist as a substitute at home to Aston Villa. 4 points against Nottingham Forest in game week 11 as well. 4.9 people are looking for kind of a fifth midfielder. You're going to do much worse than that. And I think going back to what we said about, say, James Garner earlier, you'd probably go stack. Because as well, the fixtures don't, with this type of asset, the fixtures don't matter. It's ideal. So he's absolutely fine.
Yeah, no, fair play to Leeds yesterday. Worthy of a point. And yeah, could easily have nicked it with that DCL chance at the end. Good away end yesterday. Like, you can tell Leeds fans are enjoying life. They're feeling good about their team at the moment.
I imagine, I mean, Ed kind of said this a little bit on COTC in the week as well, our Leeds correspondent. I almost can't believe how well they've done from nowhere. Yeah. This one tactical change at Manchester City seems to have just spurred a complete revival in their season where they didn't look capable. I was sitting every week going, don't think they score goals. Yeah. I mean, even yesterday, he's nearly scored again, hasn't he?
Yeah,
so
absolutely, yeah.
Brentford, and I think they'll win Sunday. Unless Manchester United have got players like Fernandes and Mount back, I think they'll beat Manchester United.
Yeah, there'll be a bear pit there, won't it, at Ellen Road? It'll be, tough day ahead for United.
Yeah, it will be a rare 12:30 watch that won't feel like a 12:30.
Yeah. Brentford 0, Tottenham 0. What a rare day yesterday where Thomas Frank met a fan base who you actually quite like him. I thought seeing he got quite a decent reception from what I saw, didn't he, at the Gtech? Probably not going to spend much on this, are we? From I was saying to you before we started, Brentford and Spurs was the last game on Match of the Day yesterday, amongst a series of sort of underwhelming games.
Shit.
And there was a shot from Yarmolyuk for Brentford that looked like it went in row Z. And I said, you know, when that's sort of making the cut for the highlights, that it's not been a great watch.
I'm sure the execs at Match of the Day were really regretting the fact they'd scheduled that program for over an hour based on what happened yesterday.
I thought Romero was a lucky boy, wasn't he, for that?
It's a red card.
That's a red card, that, yeah.
All day, every day. I thought in the ground at the time, I was quite low by the corner flag in the away end. I thought at the time it was red. And having seen it back last night, it's even worse than I thought it was. Because it was clear even from my angle of row 7 by the corner flag that Romero had swiped for the ball and missed and fouled Thiago. Then obviously Romero walks away with the ball. So it's like, oh, he's gotten away with it here because he's ended up walking away with the ball. If VAR's obviously going to look at it, I'm thinking he's going to go. There was a check for our penalty, and I'm like, I'm waiting for it in the ground to come up checking red cards. I'm still thinking that while they're checking a penalty for us, Romero's going to go here. And having seen it back, it's even worse because he takes out Thiago and completely misses the ball, takes him out, and then deliberately handles the ball that then brings it back into his path as well. It's deliberate handball on top as well. I have no idea how he's got away with that.
I don't understand what VAR are doing with that one.
That's red card all day. I qualms a bit. I need a qualm that it wasn't given. I'm sure we'd have probably lost had that happened because otherwise him and Van der Ven did deal with a lot of stuff that came into the box. Don't get Romero, but I know 2 clean sheets in a row for Tottenham. You are right. The next few fixtures are okay. Sunderland, Bournemouth, West Ham, Burnley. There probably is some more in there in terms of returns. The first thing to say about if you are looking at Tottenham assets is it might look good now. When you get to game week 24, you're going to want to move it on. So, go and get Van der Ven or go and get Porro. Right, that's great. Yeah, look at the longer term, guys. I'm telling you, you're not going to want it. But you're going to buy it and you're going to sit there in game week 24 and go, I wish I hadn't done that. Definitely, by the way, do not buy Romero because there's every chance he's going to get suspended again. So he's got a disciplinary hearing based on his reaction after he got sent off against Liverpool. And that could now get to another ban. The reason that's not been dealt with yet is because no one at the Premier League wants to work over Christmas. That's the only reason that actually he was even able to play last night. So he could get another game or another 2 games. So you cannot buy Christian Romero under any circumstances. Mickey van der Ven, by the way, he's probably pretty safe for minutes. I don't think it's impossible that he gets rested on Sunday. But remember, he's suspended for match day 7 in the Champions League, which falls in between the West Ham and the Burnley games. So Mickey should be pretty good for minutes. There's a small chance that he doesn't start one of these next 2. Just because Tottenham been careful with him, his hamstrings. You go, well, definitely play him. They didn't start him at Newcastle. when we had a midweek fixture early in December. So you can't do that. At the moment, Porro and Spence are having to play the fullback positions. Destiny Udogie is back on grass. As soon as he's able to play, he's going to be quite quick, I think, to try and get Porro and Spence some rest as well. If you had to buy one at this moment, by default, then it's Porro. Please don't do that. Rodrigo Bentancur, by the way, talking to players and DEFCONs, he's hit 6 in a row, I think. Bentancur. Yeah, 16, 15, sorry, 5 out of 6. 16, 15, 14, 13, 16. The one he missed at Forest was an 11.
You're not buying Bentancur, though, are you?
Of course you're not. I mean, he's 5.3, as if you're going to buy that over Anton Stack. Mind you, more likely to get blocked with treble Leeds than treble Tottenham. Wow. Yeah, guys. The FPL relevant stuff here. Brentford. So Vandenberg was back on the bench. Having kept a clean sheet, does that stick now that he might not play? That's a possibility. I did think that Rico Henry would play left back because of how the game finished at Tottenham a few weeks ago, where actually Kudus gave Ajer the run around in the first half and he played left back. Rico Henry forced Kudus to actually have to come off in the second half. He's 4.3. You're not going to pay that for it. So Hickey and who's the other fellow who's played left back from?
Oh, Ajer. Ajer played.
Well, Ajer, you're right. Ajer has covered that position. Yeah, Hickey's. You're not looking at that. So
Lewis
Rico,
Potter.
there's every chance. Yeah, could do. There's every chance Rico Henry will stay first choice now. Lewis Potter was all right. I know a few people on there, and you've obviously got clean sheet returns from this. That's impacted obviously when Utara's back. Thiago was okay. Ultimately, he needs the chances created for him.
Yeah.
I think it's for me. I'm because I like suffering in FPL. I'm looking at maybe Thiago to sort of João Pedro in 22 as a possibility when they play each other, which I don't like. I know, Dave. I know, and then maybe back to Thiago around about game week 28, which is when Chelsea go to Arsenal. I think there's enough in between there that might make that worth the 2 transfers. But also with the squad depth I've got built up, if I don't like Thiago when they're playing Arsenal and stuff like that, I can probably just bench it.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of value invested in him. So I wouldn't run from him at this moment.
He's quite a limited player, isn't he, Thiago?
Yeah, he is. But and I've also got an awareness that there is a small chance he doesn't start this weekend at Everton.
Yeah, with the turnaround. Yeah.
It's a possibility, yes. I know Tom Med had said that he thought that the rest he'd had previously was probably with the intention of, right, play all these Christmas fixtures, then this FA Cup will give you another rest. But I am aware there's a small chance of that. Awful game of football between two awful teams. You introduced it as Brentford 0, Tottenham 0. You might as well call it Brentford 0, mate. Honestly, it was horrendous. That at the end of the game, my goodness. I mean, I walked straight out the ground with my dad. I wasn't hanging around. I've seen the clips.
Well, I'm not aware of this. What?
So the players come over and clap. I mean, none of them particularly deserve the clap anyway. But they're getting applauded by those still in the ground. But fans come over, they come to the away and they clap. Frank walks past the players in front of them and the clapping stops and the mass booing starts.
Oh, really?
So the crowd have made it absolutely clear that their problem is with Thomas Frank. I said this on Monday. I'm not like, oh yeah, we won at Palace, great, but I'm not blinded by the result and still see that shit. It was shit Sunday. It was shit last night. You can look at all the positives of, oh, well, drawing at Brentford, it's okay. They've got the 4th best home record. Yeah, I recognise all of that. It's not acceptable for my football club to go to Brentford and have 37% possession in the second half at 0-0.
No. That's
not acceptable under any circumstances. If they lose on Sunday, it's going to get toxic real quick. He, I think, is at position nearly untenable with the fan base.
It's such a sticky game.
I also think he's quite lucky that it's Christmas period. So, like with Maresca, it's like we're going, who's managing Chelsea at the weekend? Right, I get it. Like, who's going to manage Tottenham if you just sack him at this moment? These next 2 games are massive. He has got to show something offensively. It's so bad.
Yeah, the data's bad.
Woeful stuff, man. It's boring, drab football. Yeah, whatever. So it's such an opportunity missed as well. It's like the results land, and you're looking at it last night again, unbelievably, if we beat Brentford and Sunderland, we're above Chelsea. Having like been in the position going right in the season off, and then knowing, right, we're above Chelsea and they're going to the Etihad today. Yeah, hang on a minute. The season's back on, even though we've been terrible. Tottenham had no intention of winning that football match last night.
Yeah, which is not acceptable.
So if you want to look at it and go, drawing at Brentford, it's fine. Listen, we've all been in that position when you get a result somewhere like that, and you go, it's not the worst thing. But to go there and not have the intention to try and win a football match, they played for a draw at Brentford.
Yeah.
So in his eyes, he thinks he's been successful. I promise you, he's happy today. He thinks he's won. He might have felt different when he walked in front of them fans after the game. My God, did he get it?
Yeah. Well, interesting. Didn't realise that. Let's talk about a good 0-0. Sunderland 0, Manchester City 0. I caught the last half hour of this. And it was brilliant, honestly. I want to say a word about Sunderland, really, because they are Regis Labrie, probably a shout for manager of the season based on what he's done in terms of getting a brand new crop of players versus the side that got promoted. It was just a great watch because it was kind of like, as you would imagine, if you hadn't seen it, you would imagine, well, it would just be City sort of camped in Sunderland's half, moving the ball around, trying to unlock the door, which is exactly what it was most of the time. But Sunderland roared on by an absolutely brilliant crowd who just love their team, which makes such a difference, doesn't it? Like the atmosphere sounded brilliant, bodies on the line from all over the pitch, and then every so often they would sort of intercept a City attack and have a little go themselves on the counter attack with sort of willing runners. Isidore was in the second half, and like Mundell was playing, looked a little bit limited, but trying his best, no doubt about that. Yes. I was kind of, not just because I had Alderete off the bench, but I was really willing Sunderland to sort of get the clean sheet at the end. It would have been an absolute heartbreak if City had won it right at the end. Having watched it back on Match of the Day, City did have some decent chances. They had a marginal goal from Bernardo Silva ruled out with an offside call, and Haaland did have a chance.
Been a Haaland assist on that as well.
Yeah. So he's a little bit unlucky not to get some attacking returns, but yeah, I think we just need to say a word about Sunderland here. They're doing absolutely brilliant. They've got a lot away at the moment from AFCON as well. They've got an excellent goalkeeper. They've got a backline that know what they're doing. They're very well organised. They're obviously very well coached. Xhaka's one of the signings of the season. There's no doubt about that. He is orchestrating and cajoling that team into sort of being very competitive in every single game. And they've got a threat on the counter attack as well. So, yeah, just giving Sunderland fans their flowers. Really, they've been absolutely great this season, and yeah, more of the same last night. It sounded like every Sunderland fan there was just really enjoying themselves and willing their team on to get the point.
When you have that connection,
yeah, there is a connection.
It makes such a difference. Definitely. And obviously for that football club, I mean, they've been in the public eye in terms of Sunderland till I die and stuff, and been ridiculed by everybody. So they know what the lows are like, right? So see them now in this position.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people up there in the Northeast region are so passionate about their football and stuff. So you could feel that. Even when I was watching the highlights last night, I was like, wow, you can feel the atmosphere.
It's like cheering sort of last-ditch blocks.
We've seen that down the road at Newcastle as well. Like, you know, Gimmer's where every time he wins a tackle and stuff, he's giving it the big one, isn't he? So, yeah, if Sunderland can create that environment, because you remember the Sunderland that went down years ago, it was like the easiest away game in the league. There, the ground feels like it's half empty and stuff. Pure apathy. They feel like they've got their football club back. They've got a manager they like. They've got an owner they like. They've got loads of new players they've bought and they like. Oh, it feels unfair, but these guys got us promoted. They're looking at these new crops, these Alderetis, Xhakas, Mukelis, and going, "You're all right. Yeah, I'm down with this." And some of these guys, you know, Xhaka's played really at the top level and stuff. They haven't come in there looking like they're looking for a payday. They're coming in and putting a shift in together as a team. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't look at Sunday and think, oh, Sunderland at home. I more look at my ticker and see that they're top of it over the next 5. Tottenham away, Brentford away, Palace at home, West Ham away, Burnley at home. You're playing Tottenham at a good time. You're playing Crystal Palace at a good time. Brentford away, they ain't going to be bothered by that. And then West Ham and Burnley. The only thing I'd say, from an attacking sense, I wouldn't chase after Brobby, for example.
No.
all next 5 are good. I'd go and stick him in. I regret that now. He's going to get a trick on Sunday, isn't he? Yender's played yesterday off the right. They look like they've set up a little bit differently with Hume moving into midfield. Gertrude more of a right back position, so they've changed that about. I think Alderete is an absolutely brilliant 4.0 asset. Mukeli for a little bit more is absolutely fine as well. They both hit DEFCON last night. Dennis Sirkin, by all accounts, played really well at left back. He's 4 as well, but we spoke about Reynaldo coming back in a few weeks, 3.8. I might look at going double Sunderland defence, as just having them as full 5th. And as I said, this week now, I mean, reading that Rice news this morning, I'd probably read into that thinking, although I've said I want to play him in every single game, the smart play might be, right, I'll just leave Rice 3rd sub. And I've got a real choice between probably Wilson and Alderete in terms of starting. I don't think it's going to be Nico O'Reilly, by the way. Let me read this for you from our Manchester City correspondent, Johnny Pringle, who atted me to make sure that I got the message last night. Because Johnny was on COTC just before the Nottingham Forest game. This is Johnny last night. He says, O'Reilly hasn't played well in the last 2 games, but to be fair, he has been flogged to death in the last couple of months. Can't call it whether he'll start on Sunday. Núñez, meanwhile, continues to rack up DEFCON and bonus. Planet FPL, can I change my answer? Because I'd asked him Núñez versus O'Reilly before they played Nottingham Forest. And I think influenced by the fact that we'd owned, still felt, O'Reilly absolutely fine. It is beginning to feel now that probably Matheus Núñez is the better choice of the 2. And I definitely had a consciousness anyway that O'Reilly might not play all of these games moving forward. Now, he's not done terribly, right? Because prior to him getting subbed off on 56 minutes last night and conceding 1 goal at Nottingham Forest, City have conceded 1 goal since they conceded 4 at Fulham, right? 6-6-6. But ultimately, with fullbacks in this game now, if they are not getting DEFCONs or attacking returns, it ain't really worthwhile.
No, the game's changed.
So I got my kind of eyes on with Nico O'Reilly at the moment. My instinct would be that he probably does start. But the other thing that would have been a real influence for Johnny, and again, I've only seen the highlights last night, but you watched most of it, was the City player that almost looked most likely to score in the last half hour was Josko Vardiol, who didn't start. Come on and played at left back. And it's just, this was the Vardiol who last year or the year before felt like a must own almost.
Yeah.
I'd monitor that.
Made a few changes last night because Ake played instead of Vardiol. Savinho got a start and Reinders didn't start either. He came on in the second half.
Rodri looked as good as ever when he came on in the second half. He looked quite classy when he came on. Yeah. So Gonzalez got injured last night, I believe, and so too did Savinho. So does Rodri play against Chelsea? Probably yes. They might have to patch something up for the Brighton game, so I don't know if he'll play both. But at the moment, this is if Gonzalez is out. Rodri will probably play. Also, other returnee last night was Jeremy Doku.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got Antoine Semenyo is about to walk in there now as well, we assume. What's the impact here? Do we visualize this as something that can be like left to right, be in front of Rodri, of Doku, Foden, Cherki, Semenyo?
Could be.
Because the one problem with that is it's no Bernardo Silva. And the beauty of Bernardo Silva is Pep can do whatever he wants with him within in-game tactics.
He loves Bernardo Silva, doesn't he, Pep?
Foden, I think, he's under small threat here. Because Cherki's also playing really well. He's at DEFCON last night, Ryan Cherki, which is a nice little bonus for owners as well. So I'm not suggesting anyone sells Foden at this moment. Ultimately, it's 2 home games that Yeti had this week. But if you're on Foden or Cherki, I think you need an awareness that the situation might change. I said this literally only last week. The way Manchester City are playing at the moment won't be how they're playing in 3-4 months. They will find a different initiative in terms of their structures again. Pep always finds something a little bit different for the running. Don't be surprised if that's now, right, fullback sitting deeper, Doku and Semenyo higher and wider. And if that's the case, does he want more inverted fullbacks? Now, by the way, Núñez and O'Reilly can both do that job. They are ultimately actually both midfield players.
That's right, yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that's a problem for them, but in terms of the more offensive stuff, particularly for O'Reilly, might not be great. It all needs monitoring at the moment. Like you, with Casado suspended, I've got nothing in my team that is worth taking Haaland on this week.
Yeah. Suj
just told me he's going to captain Jared Bowen. No, he hasn't. but would you rule Suj out from doing it? Super result for Sunderland. They're doing really well. I love the fact our guys and Slackers talking about how many points they need for survival. 3 wins to 38 points. Guys,
thinking of Europe now, but more than anything, huh?
You might be safe with West Ham already.
Yeah, they're doing great. Yeah,
they could qualify for Europe, definitely. And again, I spoke about Newcastle. If they win like 3 in a row, what if Newcastle, Sunderland take 10 points from the next 5? Yeah. Be right in there in contention. Sunderland don't have to do a lot more than what they're doing to potentially be in contention for that. Now, it might be as the season drifts on longer that they might hit their own kind of fatigue level after a bad result or something like that. But yeah, they've been an amazing manager, ownership, fans, players, all involved. Club as a collective can be quite powerful. They come to my club at the moment that looks broken. Do not be surprised if they beat us.
No, I wouldn't be. Sorry.
And the most likely score if they do is
1-0.
Correct. Yeah, I might just play Alderete.
17-pointer, hopefully.
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not. You hope not, obviously. Yeah. That's it. That's all the games from Game Week 19.
Cheers. Good stuff. Do you want to cover off any questions at all, Dave? See if there's stuff on the Twitter tweet that we might not have covered. I'm sure we've probably got more of it. Brandon said about O'Reilly minutes we've just done. Wyatt says, too soon to wildcard. Didn't even use all the AFCON transfers, but the team has fallen off a cliff with injuries and players out of form. I'd advise against it, guys.
Yeah. Same. Question from Zubi. Is 4-5-1, 5-4-1 the right way forward? Every forward apart from Haaland is underwhelming.
No, the problem is like something happens with Gtech like recently, and I get it, and then you're like, oh, I don't want Gtech now. Get too frustrated here. Is there like midfielders at that same value doing bits? I mean, if I said now have Gtech or Foden for the next 3 months, which would you rather have? I would take Gtech. If you ask me right now, decide till April, because I'd like something might happen here that changes the game for Foden. Gtech that's secure for minutes.
With Isak out, probably Ekitike.
Probably going to be talisman through the middle, unless transfer window changes. So, no, I've been on a front three structure all season, so you're probably asking the wrong guy, and I fully intend to stay on it. So, the problem with it is you go 5-4-1 and 4-5-1. If someone does like hit it off, look how Ekitike got steamed into a couple of weeks ago. It's like, you can't do it. Imagine Voltemade got injured at the weekend, and then you're looking at Vissa playing Leeds and Wolves.
Yeah, you fancy that.
Like, is it worth doing it for the 2 games? Maybe. So, no, I would definitely try and keep at least 2 up front. I understand those are on the 2 and they've got like a Krupi or a Goo or something like that. Like, it's fine. But just 1 up front, no, not for me.
The brilliantly named David Hunter has a question. Nice to be able to ask one of his questions, who he is not me. With being able to store 5 free transfers, is saving your wildcard for the end of season as powerful as it once was? Thinking of using mine within the next few weeks, but unsure how difficult it would be to navigate the projected doubles and blanks without having it in the back pocket.
So I did a run through on the midweek dilemma for our patrons on Wednesday, looking right up to game week 31, just showing a draft how I might kind of maneuver things up till game week 31. Now, if Arsenal Man City is a Carabao Cup final, you're going to lose Arsenal, Man City and Crystal Palace in game week 31. I've spoken about this Palace fixtures 26-27. There'd be a lot of us on treble Arsenal and treble Man City at the moment. If you think what you've got now is a bigger problem than what that will be, just free hit then, James. Cool. That's great. Teams who probably double in game week 33 are probably going to blank in game week 34. Now what? Hold fire. I get it. If you're sitting there with 6-7 flags and it's properly broken and stuff, fine. But for most people, I would strongly advise against wildcarding at the moment till we've got some more information.
Yeah, I've got no plans to use any chips anytime soon, that's for sure. Right, leave it there. Cheers, James.
Cheers, mate. Thank you, David. Good stuff. Differential show and team news stream later for patrons. Deadline stream goes ahead tomorrow, 10 a.m. UK time. I believe Suj will be back with me for the game review pod tomorrow. There are 2 game review pods, not tomorrow, Monday. Sorry. 2 game review pods next week, both Monday and Friday. As I said, Gary Mant will be joining me on the fan view as well. Clash of Correspondence without Tuesday early is Sunderland versus Brentford with Spencer Barrowman and Tom Med. Jesus, I've set myself up for a fall here. And that show with Nico most likely going to be on Thursday next week as well. Plenty more on Patreon if you want to support the show. It's www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. It leaves me to say, David, thank you. For the listeners, smash a like, hit the sub, 5-star review goes a really long way. Have a great weekend. And as ever, be nice to each other and play it your way. Cue music, please, man child.